Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Greetings, salutations, welcome to the bonus show. I have a story from Argentina here. This is incredible. You would think this was a joke if you saw the headline, but it is not a joke. The president of Argentina, Cristina Kirchner, has adopted a Jewish boy, sort of, becoming a godparent of a Jewish boy to prevent him from becoming a werewolf. Now, there is this folklore in Argentinian folklore. The seventh son born to a family turns into a werewolf-like creature on the first Friday after the boy's 13th birthday. I suppose after the boy becomes a man, the bar mitzvah, or around there, turning the boy into a demon at midnight during every full moon, doomed to hunt and kill before returning to human form, as well as feeding on excrement, unbaptized babies, and the flesh of the recently dead. The werewolf is said to be unnaturally strong and able to spread its curse with a bite.
All right, so let me say a few things about this.
Hold on, wait. Let me add one thing. People believed this a long time ago in Argentina. It has been part of the folklore for quite a while. That they killed, so many people believed it, and they believed it so firmly that they killed their own babies. So to stop that from happening, presidents started adopting the seventh boys of families. The process was then extended to girls, and that's the story.
Yeah, so I checked into this. I'm from Argentina, in case people listening don't know. I had never heard about this before, and I talked to a bunch of people about it. Yes, it's true that a long time ago, there were, this kind of, in the same way that there were
witch hunts?
Native American beliefs or witch hunts more recently or whatever. There were some who believed this, but no one really believes this now. This is more of a figurative thing. And let me make clear, this is not to defend Cristina Kirchner. Cristina Kirchner, the president of Argentina, is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She's out of her mind. I mean, we've covered that many, many times. This just has nothing to do with her specifically. This is just kind of like some tradition of becoming the godparent. But nobody that I've ever met really believes this. If it still exists, it exists in, who knows, rural native areas. It's just, what bugged me about it was there are still actual insane, antiquated beliefs that are way more mainstream in all sorts of countries. But the fact that this, which is widely known to kind of be a goof, was used to criticize Cristina Kirchner in some way, when she deserves tons of criticism. Let me make that clear. I am not a fan of Cristina Kirchner, but this is just kind of silly.
This is the best thing she's ever done. Apart from, keeping this ridiculous, helping to keep this ridiculous folklore alive. Anyway, well, yeah, we do talk about things like this all the time, like the Icelandic people believing in elves, that the elves that roam the countryside or live in caves or whatever, all of that stuff. Anyway, this kind of fits into the same category. But people were killing their babies because of this in the not too distant past. Incredible stuff. But anyway, I think they should probably just stop this nonsense altogether over there. But good for Kirchner. Lego crime. Did you know that stealing Legos is a huge trend in the criminal underworld? Were you aware of this?
I heard about it, but I don't know why.
I guess this has been happening for a while, but it's been getting worse and worse. A 53-year-old was arraigned on Friday on grand larceny charges after she allegedly snatched 800 sets of these from a collector in Long Island and tried to unload them on eBay at about $60,000. Less than 48 hours later, police discovered a crime ring in Arizona, arresting 4 people in connection with about $40,000 worth of Legos stolen from different Toys R Us stores. They also discovered about $200,000 worth of Lego merchandise in one of the suspects' homes and a storage facility. Now, some people are stealing them and sitting on them for a while, stealing them, selling them on eBay. Eventually, it seems they all go up on eBay. Others are going into stores like Target and making their own labels so that they can buy these much cheaper than the actual price of the set, and then turning around and selling them on eBay. They're basically impossible to track. You can't track a box of this stuff. This is what's happening. It's huge.
It's just amazing because when we were kids, Legos were really cool, but it was just, yeah, here's a whole bag of Legos. Here's 10,000 pieces. You know what I mean? And now it's these relatively small piece sets are hot items to be stealing.
Well, and that they keep making new ones. So if you have an unopened, a Millennium Falcon, collector's edition of the Lego Star Wars Millennium Falcon, it could sell for thousands of dollars. So some of these are highly sought after by collectors. And, you can just sit on these for a while and they will go up in price. But I think that Lego will probably have to implement some type of unique identification on the boxes, and stores will have to, keep track of which ones they have and which ones go missing, because this is just becoming a huge problem. I mean, ultimately, the company is not losing money, right? Because the stores are buying from them.
Yes, although depending on the financing deal, sometimes stores don't have to pay for the supply they get for 30 or 60 days. So I'm sure Lego would still not be thrilled if they found out that the supply whose sale was going to be used to pay their bill has now been stolen, because if it keeps happening for too long, stores will either have to stop paying their bills to Lego or stop carrying Lego brand.
Yeah. There's one story here of a guy, a Silicon Valley tech executive who owned a multi-million-dollar home, was busted. Thomas Lagenbach pleaded no contest to fabricating his own barcodes at home, which he would place on pricey Lego sets at Target, buy them at a cheaper price. And I guess he sold more than $30,000 on eBay with doing this stuff. Guy who doesn't seem to need the money. Maybe he just got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But man, Legos, I loved playing with Legos. I would just sit for hours and hours and build random crap. I found it so amusing. And I probably still would if I had any, but I'm not going to break into that now because I don't have any and I don't want to spend the time and money collecting. But anyway, they were fun, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
I remember we used to turn on your mom's treadmill at a high speed and take Lego guys and kind of shave them on the treadmill. And it would completely stain the, whatever you call it.
The belt, yes. And it created quite a smell, too.
Yep. Yeah, we were inhaling that. Probably not the best thing for you. But that was pretty funny. Here's a story sent to me by Tommaso about, after I talked about the anti-Islamic rally in Dresden, he sent me this story about Dutch immigration. And this is really interesting what the Dutch have implemented here. If you are planning on seeking residency in the Netherlands, you must watch what they describe as a racy film. Now, there are exceptions to this. EU nationals, asylum seekers, and skilled workers earning more than a certain amount of money, and people from a few certain countries, US, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Japan, and Switzerland, those people are exempt. Everyone else must go through a process which involves watching this racy film. It has two men kissing in a park, a topless woman emerging from the sea and walking onto a crowded beach. And the idea of the film is that if you find it offensive or if you can't stomach it, perhaps you would not be a good fit in the Netherlands. Now, do you like the idea of this? Does this sound like something that makes sense, or does this sound like something that is unnecessary.
In some ways, it does make sense. It's kind of like, listen, these are the values. These are the things that would exist here. You know, some people go to Spain and they're just stunned and offended by the fact that beaches are topless for people who want to be topless. But you don't have to be topless. They're not nude beaches. And you know what? If you want to be bottomless, no one's going to say anything really either. And it's just what it is. And you do see the more kind of conservative, traditional folks who see that and they say, oh my goodness, they're so, unrefined here and blah, 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 blah. This is just what it is. And it might be good to give people a little bit of advance notice.
Yep. I like the idea of this. Some are saying that that it is not a good thing, not a prudent way of welcoming people to the Netherlands. One theologian said, and saying that the minister has radical ideas. There are some edited versions of the film for people in countries to give to the embassies in countries where the nudity might be a violation of the law. But I think they'll still get the idea. Some people saying that this stuff would be, insulting to people of Islamic faith. But Mohammed Sani, the chairman of Islam and Citizenship, defended the film, saying that homosexuality is, quote, a reality, and urged all immigrants to embrace, how do you say that word? Modern with an ITY on the end.
Modernity?
Such a strange word.
Because it sounds like maternity.
Yeah. I think you should just say modernness, but modernity. Anyway, I don't like that word. So like I said, there's a censored version, and this is an interesting idea. But I like it, and I think that I wish all countries would have something similar, a video or something that shows the values and that shows what's accepted in that country. And you know what? If it offends you, I don't think that's this country insulting you. If it offends you, maybe it will make you rethink moving to that country. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. What would the United States video look like?
Yeah, well, that's a funny thing, because in the U.S., I feel like there wouldn't even be agreement as to what are the things that you should be prepared for. Like, there's a contingent who would be like, you need to be ready for the fact that in some states, there's gay marriage. And in some states, there's a mosque near ground zero or whatever. There would be this completely skewed thing. In some states, they teach science instead of the Bible. And then there would be a whole other contingent who would say, you need to be aware of the fact that parts of this country have legislatures that try to make law based on their religious text. You really need to be prepared for that, because that's crazy. So I don't even think that there would be agreement as to what the video should be here.
I agree. Perhaps we'd have to encompass everything. We'd have to show a group of friends smoking pot, and then a bunch of police beating the hell out of people who were smoking pot. And, maybe show a bunch of people pigging out at some gross buffet, and then a bunch of people fine dining in some nice restaurant. Perhaps, I don't know. I mean, it would be tough. It would be tough. That's a good question. What would that video look like? What would it look like in Argentina?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some type of werewolf bar mitzvah. That's funny. I forgot to mention, there's a song in 30 Rock, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, and I wonder if that was their inspiration for it. Anyway, pretty funny. Great episode. I love 30 Rock. Kind of going off on a tangent here, but that's it for today's bonus show.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.